The night Maya Alvarez won $10 million, she was wiping syrup off table 7 and wondering if her rent check would bounce again. The diner was loud in the way only cheap places were loud, full of clattering plates, half-laughed jokes, and the constant hum of people who didn't have anywhere better to be. Neon lights flickered outside the window, turning rain into liquid fire. Maya moved between booths on aching feet, smiling out of habit more than happiness, carrying plates heavier than her mood. She was 28 years old, a waitress since 19, and exhausted in a way sleep never fixed. Her life had shrunk into shifts, tips, bills, and quiet panic about the future. She almost didn't buy the lottery ticket. The scratch-off sat by the register like it always did, tucked between cigarette packs and cheap lighters. She had exactly $5 left in her wallet after paying for groceries that week. $5 that was supposed to stretch until payday. $5 that could buy gas or coffee or nothing at all if she wasn't careful. When the register beeped and the cashier asked if she wanted anything else, Maya hesitated. Then she heard a voice in her head, her mother's voice, tired but hopeful, saying, "You never know." She slid the bill across the counter and took the ticket without thinking too hard about it. She scratched it later, in her car, hands cold despite the heater blasting. At first, she thought she was doing it wrong. The numbers didn't make sense. Her heart began to beat faster, then faster still, until she had to stop and breathe. She checked the rules on the back. She scratched again. She counted. She stared. $10 million stared back at her, printed in bold ink that felt unreal, like a prank. She laughed once, sharp and loud, then covered her mouth. Her hands shook so badly she dropped the coin. Maya didn't scream. She didn't cry. She sat there in silence, the rain drumming against the windshield, her entire life rearranging itself in her mind. $10 million. No more rent panic. No more double shifts. No more smiling at men who snapped their fingers at her. No more calculating which bills could wait. For a moment, the future opened like a door she'd never been allowed to touch. The chaos didn't start immediately. Chaos rarely does. It waits. The next morning, Maya called the lottery office on her break. She was careful, quiet, methodical. She signed the paperwork, followed instructions, and listened as a calm voice explained taxes, publicity options, and security recommendations. When asked if she wanted to remain anonymous, she said yes without hesitation. She didn't trust the world enough to do otherwise. But anonymity, she would soon learn, was a fragile illusion. By the end of the week, the diner knew. Someone always knows. A friend of a friend had seen her at the lottery office. Someone overheard a phone call. A rumor became a whisper, then a certainty. Maya noticed the change before anyone said a word. The looks lingered longer. The smiles felt sharper. Conversations stopped when she entered a room. Tips got bigger, then stranger. People asked personal questions disguised as jokes. "So, what would you do if you won the lottery?" someone asked, watching her closely. The manager pulled her aside 3 days later. He smiled too much, congratulated her too loudly, suggested she didn't need to keep working if she didn't want to, but also hinted she might owe the diner loyalty for being there during her hard years. Maya nodded, uncomfortable. She still needed the job, she told herself. Not for the money, but for normalcy. She wanted life to stay recognizable. It didn't. Her phone number leaked first. She didn't know how, but suddenly she was getting messages from people she hadn't spoken to in years. Old classmates, distant cousins, a woman claiming to be her father's friend. The messages all started the same way. "Congratulations, so proud of you, always knew you'd make it," and ended the same way too, with requests disguised as ideas. Business opportunities, loans, emergencies, dreams they wanted her to fund. Maya tried to be polite at first. She said no gently. She explained boundaries. But the messages multiplied. When she didn't respond, the tone shifted. Some got angry. Others guilt-tripped her. A few accused her of forgetting where she came from. One message read, "Money shows who you really are." She stared at the screen, heart pounding, wondering when her life had become a test she never signed up for. Her family was worse. Her mother cried when Maya told her, tears of relief and pride mixing together. Her younger brother immediately started talking about dropping out of college to start a business. Her aunt suggested investing in property together. Everyone spoke at once, dreams colliding, expectations stacking up like invisible weight on Maya's chest. She wanted to help them. Of course she did. But every yes created 10 more asks. Every promise felt like a contract written in guilt. Then came the strangers. A man waited outside her apartment one night, claiming he had an investment pitch that would change the world. A woman cornered her at the grocery store, telling her a detailed story about medical bills and divine signs. Someone slipped a handwritten letter under her door, filled with prayers and demands. Maya stopped sleeping. She changed her routine. She jumped at shadows. Money had made her visible in a way poverty never had. The media found her eventually. A local blog published a story, "Small Town Waitress Wins Big." They didn't use her name at first, but they didn't need to. Photos of the diner circulated. Speculation ran wild. Comment sections filled with praise, envy, and cruelty in equal measure. Some people celebrated her as a symbol of hope. Others tore her apart, accusing her of being undeserving, lucky, lazy. Why her? They asked, as if fortune required moral qualifications. Maya quit the diner 2 weeks later. Not because she wanted to, but because she had to. Customers treated her like an exhibit. Coworkers whispered. The manager's smile turned sour when she declined to invest in his restaurant expansion idea. Walking out for the last time, she felt relief and grief tangled together. The diner had been a cage, but it had also been familiar. With money came advisors, lawyers, financial planners, people who spoke in careful tones and expensive words. Maya listened, nodded, signed papers she barely understood. She moved into a temporary rental while figuring out next steps. Security cameras went up. Locks were changed. The world outside her door felt louder, more demanding, less forgiving. And still, the chaos grew. A childhood friend accused her of betrayal when Maya refused to co-sign a loan. A relative stopped speaking to her entirely after she declined to pay off their debts. Online, strangers debated her worth like she was a character in a show. Memes appeared, fake quotes, rumors about how she'd won, how she'd spent, who she'd become. Maya deleted social media, but it didn't delete her. The money began to feel heavy. Not empowering, heavy. One night, sitting alone in her new living room, Maya opened the safe where the official documents were stored. She stared at the numbers again, the proof of everything. $10 million. She had thought it would feel like freedom. Instead, it felt like standing in the center of a storm everyone wanted something from. The breaking point came when her brother showed up unannounced with a business plan and a sense of entitlement that shocked her. When she hesitated, he accused her of changing, of letting money rot her heart. They yelled. Words were said that couldn't be taken back. When he left, slamming the door behind him, Maya slid down the wall and cried for the first time since winning. That was the night she realized something important. The chaos wasn't just around her. It was inside her too. Maya stopped answering calls. She took a week-long trip alone, leaving her phone off most of the time. She walked unfamiliar streets, ate alone, watched people who didn't know her story. Slowly, her breathing slowed. Her thoughts untangled. She remembered who she had been before the ticket, before the noise. A tired waitress, yes, but also a woman who valued kindness, independence, and quiet dignity. When she returned, she made changes. She set firm boundaries. No more open-ended conversations about money. No more emotional negotiations. She created a structured plan to help her immediate family, fixed amounts, clear limits. She hired a therapist, something she'd never been able to afford before. She started volunteering at a food bank anonymously, working shifts that reminded her of who she used to serve. Some people left her life. Others stayed, quieter but more real. The chaos didn't disappear overnight, but it softened. The world stopped shouting as loudly when she stopped trying to please it. Months later, a reporter asked for an interview. Maya declined. She didn't want to be a headline anymore. She wanted to be a person. Winning the lottery hadn't solved her problems. It had revealed them. It had stripped away illusions and exposed the fragile, messy truth of human desire. But in the wreckage, Maya found something unexpected: clarity. She learned that money amplifies who people already are. That generosity without boundaries becomes destruction. That privacy is priceless. And that happiness is quieter than chaos, harder to notice, but infinitely more real. On the anniversary of the win, Maya visited the old diner. She sat at table 7, ordered coffee, and tipped generously without explanation. The waitress smiled, tired and hopeful. Maya smiled back, knowing some dreams are better left unwon, and some battles are worth fighting only inside yourself. The chaos had unfolded, yes. But it hadn't won. She wiped syrup off a diner table with $5 to her name. That same night, she won $10 million. What followed wasn't happiness, it was total chaos. Friends turned into strangers, family became enemies, and money revealed a truth no one warns you about. If you want real stories about sudden wealth, human nature, and the price of fortune, subscribe now and don't miss what comes next. If this story made you think, pause, or see money differently, don't scroll away. Like this story, share it with someone who believes money fixes everything, and subscribe for more powerful, real-world stories that expose the truth behind success, luck, and human behavior. Your support keeps these stories alive, and the next one might change how you see your own life.